you can see here, for example, I just imported a geometry, which you can do it by going to the file, then select the import external geometry, and then here you need just to select the file, and you have different formats. As you have the full Ansys version, you can also select SolidWorks, SLDPRT format, and others. Normally, I will recommend you to use step files because it's very good, and you basically will have the a good accuracy in terms of the dimensions and the lines that will be created, and probably you won't have anything irregular in your design. So after you select your file, in this case I will only need to click here in generate, then the file will be imported to the DesignModeler graphics window. Then, as you can see here, some different operations were performed in order to compare all of these. For example, with this first one, I have to have some bodies that I hide. I'm going to show every single body. So we're going just to focus on this one. As you see here, for example, the original body had this geometry. So I created this one. So for example, the original geometry was as this one. These were two bodies, but I'm going to explain why they are just one right now. Then I use the fill option once again as before. Then I selected the faces. In this case was just this face, and it creates like a new body. Then I'm going to hide this. Sorry, I'm going to hide this, and then I'm going to hide this. Then I create the pattern, which can be done by clicking here, then just select the bodies, and then just select the direction of the pattern that you're going to create, the number of copies. As you can see here, for example, I created 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 copies, so I just needed to click here and change it to from 1 to 5, and then the offset, which means the distance is going to be, as you can see here, for example, by clicking in the points option, the distance between these two faces is 6 millimeters, so you have to be careful about this because the offset is the distance between the origin, so it will be this distance till here. As you can see here now, this distance it's correct of what it is asking, in this case the pattern option. After this, for example, I use the volume option to create just one body between these two that I have here as an example, or from my original geometry, by going here in the create option. Then I go to boolean option, and then the operation I have too many. In this case I just selected unite, which is also as default, and then I just selected my two bodies, and after that just click on generate, and then as you can see here, the one body or new part is created. And I did this because, as you can see here from my imported file, there were some split faces or lines that were separating these two faces. So as a result of combining these two different bodies, I have these two lines, and as you can see here, I have this line and I have this line. So right now it is very important when I'm going to create the mesh that I don't have these lines, because it can cause some problems when creating my mesh, and it will also depend on what type of mesh I'm going to create, because sometimes these lines are necessary. In this case they will need to be from one face to the other. When I'm talking about faces, I'm talking about this one and probably this one. So the line should be along all these two faces. So as a result, in this case, you can use the option uh, delete edge, which once again you go to create, then you go to delete, and you can delete a body, you can delete a face, or you can delete an edge. Then after selecting the delete edge option, I just selected these two lines, and as you can see here, this is exactly the same procedure as before. Then the lines were selected, and I'm going to show you here. The two lines are in green, were selected, and then by clicking generate, the lines just disappear. Something else that can be done, for example, in this geometry that we have here, as you can see here, here are the edges that I was talking before. These are two different bodies. The only difference is that, as you can see here, I just clicked on this face. I'm going to hide this body so it's better for you to see what I'm talking about. You can see here a line, and I'm going to show you a normal. So as you can see here, this body and this body are exactly the same. The only difference is that I perform an imprint option or a face split. So you can do this by, in this case, this first one was performed by selecting the boolean once again and changing the operation from unite, which was performed before, to imprint faces. Then I can basically select which one is going to be the target body. As you can see, this is going to be the target body, and then the tool body is going to be the body that was up in these two geometries. And then in case I don't want to preserve the tool body, so for example if I change this to no, basically what I will have is this. And as I didn't select that option, I basically have to the option of preserving my tool body. For example, I'm going to show you very quick. If I change this to no, then it disappears. Now I'm going to change it again to yes, and then as you can see here, I have these two bodies. This is very important when you are creating the name selection option. For example, here, imagine that you just want, because this face, which is in contact between the two bodies, is going to be the interface face. So imagine that you just want to select this face as an adiabatic. If I didn't perform this operation, basically what I will be doing is attributing a wrong name selection. So I'm going to be also being attributed a wrong boundary condition. As you can see here, I apply a boundary condition to all these face, to this face. And another way to create a imprint face or separate or split a face is by using the face split option, which can be obtained from going to tools. Then you have to select here the face split, and as you can see here, I can change the type of my operation by points and edges, location, plane, surface. So here you have more varieties of options. And as you can see here, basically I just selected my target faces. And this is very important. For example, comparing these two operations, as you can see here, I just imprinted the faces or separate these faces into two because of tool body. In this case, I'm going to separate not only this face, and also I'm going to be separating these two side faces and the bottom and top face. So I just need to select these four. I'm going to edit selection so it's more easy for you to see. The target faces are going to be this, and this. And then the tool geometry, as I change it, the type from, in this case, if I'm not mistaken, the default option is by points and edges, and I change it to by surface. I just needed to select this surface. So basically these four faces are going to be split because of this surface. As you can see here, I have these four faces split. So in this case I have now 8 faces. And finally, what I can also do is, for example, imagine that you want to perform a mesh and you have some difficulties due to the complex of the geometry. Sometimes it's better for you to create new bodies. For example, creating a mesh of this single body is this one. For example, this is just a single body. Probably will have some problems because due to the hole that I have in here. So sometimes it's easier, for example, to create a mesh of this block or this box and then create a new mesh just for this, because sometimes it's more important to perform the refinement near the hole and not here. And if I have the two bodies, then it can cause some problems when generating the mesh. So basically you just need to go here and create, then select the slice option, as you can see here, and then you have two different options. In this case, I just selected the slice by surface, very similar to what I did here in this faceplate. The only difference is that I performed division of this body into two by selecting the same surface. And as you can see here, this is all about the geometry. I'm going to show you very quickly something in space claim.